For 20 years, I poured my heart and soul into my boss, but one bleak morning, he showed me the door, and that's when my hidden plan ignited. My name is Emily, I'm 58 years old, and I dedicated 2 decades to New York's vibrant tech landscape at a modest yet influential software firm called TechForge. I began as a young engineer, fresh from university, with dreams bigger than my tiny apartment in a noisy neighborhood, spending countless nights coding by the dim light of a single bulb, constructing projects from the ground up with little more than determination and a secondhand computer. I crafted the company's breakthrough, the Smart Inventory System, a revolutionary software that transformed warehouses into digital hubs, managing millions in inventory within seconds with a precision that rivaled global giants. The system's development was a marathon of late-night sessions, fueled by black coffee and the encouragement of my then 8-year-old son, who'd sit cross-legged on the floor, asking, "Mom, will this make us rich?" One of our key clients, a top logistics corporation, slashed their operational costs by 30% thanks to my creation, a feat that earned us a prestigious industry award in 2015, where Andrew hoisted the trophy with me, declaring, "Emily, you're the hero of this company." His voice brimming with pride as cameras flashed. But that morning, the trophy gathered dust and the pride faded. That day, I was summoned to the chilly, claustrophobic meeting room on the 3rd floor, a space where I'd once pitched my first big idea to a skeptical Andrew, convincing him with a whiteboard sketch that changed our trajectory. Across from me sat my boss, Andrew, and the HR manager, Alice. Andrew's face bore an unsettling tension, his gaze locked on the table as if he'd rehearsed this script for weeks, his fingers tapping a nervous rhythm on the wood. Alice clutched a thick file, her features cloaked in a veneer of feigned sympathy, her lips pressed into a tight line as she avoided my eyes. "Emily," Andrew started, his tone dripping with artificial gentleness, "the company's structure is undergoing a significant shift. To cut costs amid a tough market downturn, rising fuel prices, and supply chain issues, we're restructuring certain positions, and your department is included." Alice nudged the file toward me. It held a few pages, a cheap plastic pen with a company logo, and a standard severance package, the paper creased as if rushed through a printer at dawn. "We value your 20 years of service," she added, her voice flat and rehearsed, "but it's time our paths diverged. You'll receive 2 weeks' pay and 3 months of health coverage. Please clear your desk and surrender your keys today. We'll need them by noon. Security will escort you out if necessary." In that instant, a piece of me shattered, a crack that echoed through the memories of those 20 years. 20 years, endless late nights hunched over in a cluttered home office, Andrew dialing me at 2 a.m. during crises with, "Emily, you're the only one for this," and assembling my team from scratch in a cramped office with mismatched chairs and a leaky ceiling. My original crew had evolved with me, only 2 remained. Veterans like Paul, who joined me on day 1, and Sarah, who'd mastered the system's backend. The rest promoted to other divisions or departed for better offers, yet all molded by my mentorship and late-night pep talks over stale donuts. During the Smart Inventory System's creation, I rarely saw home, surviving on coffee and takeout from a nearby kebab shop, my son, then 10, dubbing me his superhero as he watched me sketch algorithms on napkins, his crayons scattered around. And now was I reduced to a crumpled sheet of paper and a handful of icy words delivered in a room that once held my triumphs. Yet a smile flickered across my face, subtle but deliberate, born from a resolve that had been simmering for months. They mistook it for defeat, but it marked the dawn of a plan I'd nurtured in secrecy, scribbled in a notebook hidden under my bed. "Of course," I replied with steady calm, my voice unwavering despite the storm within. "I understand. I'll handle what's required." Andrew's eyebrows arched in surprise. His tapping paused. Alice shared a bewildered look with him, her pen halting midair, as if unsure how to proceed. They anticipated drama, tears, outbursts, pleas, but received only serene acceptance, a silence that unnerved them. "Very well, then clear your desk and leave," Andrew said, a trace of relief coloring his voice, though his eyes darted to the clock, calculating the minutes until I was gone. As I exited, I peered through the glass at Andrew's office, its sleek decor, a framed award from 2015, a mahogany desk, now a stark contrast to the chaos brewing within me. Memories of our shared years flooded back, vivid as yesterday. A decade ago, when I unveiled the smart inventory system in that very room, I'd faced a room of skeptics, Andrew among them, convincing him with a whiteboard sketch that erased doubts. He'd proclaimed, "This is the idea that will save this company," his eyes alight with admiration as the team erupted in applause, champagne glasses clinking in celebration. We toasted with my crew that evening. He uncorked a bottle of red wine, raising a glass. "We owe Emily our gratitude," his words echoing off the walls as Paul spilled wine on his shirt, laughing. But lately he'd recruited a flood of young engineers, fresh graduates with trendy haircuts, branding me experienced but slow in performance reviews. I'd skimmed with a clenched jaw, each word a paper cut to my pride. In meetings, my concepts were parroted by a junior colleague, James, with a smug grin, and I held my tongue, though resentment brewed beneath, fueling late-night strategy sessions at home where I'd pace, plotting my next move. Then, last month, a misdirected email chain exposed their scheme. They planned to repackage my algorithm as next-gen inventory software and sideline me. The message, sent by Alice to Andrew with a carbon copy to the board, read, "We should retire Emily and pass the project to the youth. Her salary's a burden now, and the new hires are cheaper." With my patent still in my possession, secured through sleepless nights on my personal laptop in a study lit by a single lamp, I wielded the power to unravel their plot, a power I'd guarded like a secret weapon. Returning home, I retrieved a file I'd guarded for years from my drawer, its edges worn from nervous handling during late-night reviews. It contained my algorithm's development logs, detailed entries from 2005 to 2010, each page a testament to my dedication, timestamps from my personal computer, and a patent application filed under my name after months of legal back and forth. 3 months prior, with my lawyer Zara's meticulous guidance, we'd compiled these documents, cross-checking every line to ensure airtight protection, her office filled with the scent of coffee as we worked. The patent was approved under my name just weeks ago, a victory celebrated with a quiet toast with Zara, meaning TechForge required my consent to use it through a license if I deemed it fit. More critically, I'd arranged a clandestine meeting with Ethan, CEO of rival firm Digital Pinnacle, after a chance encounter at a tech expo where he'd praised my work, his business card still tucked in my wallet. They recognized my value and refused to let it slip away, offering a lifeline I hadn't dared hope for after years of feeling undervalued. That night, I met Ethan at a secluded restaurant in Soho, shielded by elegant Japanese screens for discretion, the soft clink of glasses and hum of conversation masking our talk. "Emily," he said, admiration gleaming in his eyes as he leaned forward, his tie loosened from a long day, "your algorithm transformed the industry, setting a benchmark others chase. Join us, and you'll rise beyond an engineer to our Chief Innovation Officer, a role to shape our future." He slid a contract across the polished table, its pages crisp and detailed. A $200,000 annual salary, 5% equity in Digital Pinnacle, and $50,000 yearly royalties for my algorithm's license. Terms that made my head spin with possibility. "Let's sign this before TechForge catches wind," I suggested, my voice steady despite the racing of my heart, my fingers tracing the signature line. "Monday will alter everything." We shook hands, his grip firm and reassuring, and I sensed my 20 years of labor, every missed birthday, every sacrificed weekend, finally claiming its rightful worth. At home, my son enveloped me in a hug, whispering, "Mom, you're finally getting what you deserve," his eyes sparkling with pride as he peeked at the contract, asking if we could frame it. Friday, my final day at TechForge, I packed my desk while scrolling through a flood of messages from my team, each one a stab of guilt and hope. "Emily, why are you leaving?" Young Amelia's voice lingered in my thoughts, her text punctuated with a sad emoji and a question mark. I responded, "Don't worry, we'll reunite soon," my fingers trembling slightly as I typed, my mind racing with the letters in my bag. In my bag were offers for my 6-person team. Michael, the project lead with a knack for crisis management and a laugh that brightened tense moments. Amelia, the data analytics prodigy who'd once saved a deadline with a last-minute insight. Paul, the steady hand from day one. Sarah, the back-end genius. And 2 others I'd guided through late-night brainstorming sessions over lukewarm tea. I'd rescue them too. This team was my family. bonded by years of shared struggles, from power outages during storms to last-minute client pitches that won us contracts. Monday morning, in my new office at Digital Pinnacle, clad in a charcoal gray suit tailored for this moment, the fabric a symbol of my new chapter, my phone buzzed as I settled into a leather chair with a view of the Bosphorus, its waters glinting under the sunrise. The press release launched at 7 a.m., a meticulously crafted announcement. Emily Yilmaz, creator of the Smart Inventory System, joins Digital Pinnacle as Chief Innovation Officer, bringing unparalleled expertise to our team. By 9 a.m., Andrew texted, "Emily, what is this? How could you do this to us?" His message laced with desperation, a follow-up call ringing unanswered. I smiled and redirected it to my lawyer, Zara, who'd already anticipated the fallout, her phone lighting up with legal queries. That day, chaos engulfed TechForge. Without my algorithm, their products ground to a halt, production lines stalled with half-finished orders, and emergency meetings filled their calendar, board members shouting over conference lines. Stocks plummeted 15%. Clients like the logistics giant threatened to pull multi-million-dollar contracts, their CEOs demanding explanations, and Andrew sent a desperate email. "Emily, let's talk. This must be a misunderstanding. Please reconsider. We need you back." My reply was resolute. "Reach out to Digital Pinnacle's lawyers for a license." A response Zara refined with legal precision, adding a clause for back royalties. My team flourished in their new roles. Michael remarked during a video call, "This is a true team environment." Emily, his screen showing a bustling Digital Pinnacle office, Amelia nodding beside him with a new project outline. 3 months later, at the Tech Innovation Conference in Brooklyn, hundreds rose in applause as I stepped onto the stage, my son cheering from the front row, his camera flashing to capture the moment. Andrew withered in his seat, a shadow among the crowd. TechForge had shelled out $500,000 for a license after weeks of tense negotiations, a sum that stung their bottom line, negotiated by Zara with a steely resolve over late-night calls. My triumph wasn't merely a job. It was 20 years of overlooked effort, late nights in a cold office, and silent sacrifices, missed school plays, forgotten anniversaries, finally recognized. Celebrating with my son over dinner at a rooftop restaurant, he beamed, "Mom, I'm proud of you," his words warming me more than the wine, his plate of pasta untouched as he listened to my speech replay. I mused, sometimes the ultimate revenge lies in carving your own path and thriving, a lesson I'd pass to my son and the team I'd rebuilt, a legacy built on resilience. To expand the narrative, let's delve deeper into the aftermath and roots. The weeks following my dismissal were a whirlwind of preparation, a chess game played in shadows. Zara and I pored over every detail of the patent, ensuring every timestamp and log was ironclad, revisiting old emails to corroborate my personal work, her desk strewn with legal pads. I recalled my early days at TechForge, a 28-year-old with shaky hands presenting to a room of doubters, Andrew's nod, the first sign of belief. The late nights coding on my personal laptop in a study lit by a single lamp, the moments I'd hidden my work from company servers to protect it from prying eyes, became my armor. Ethan, meanwhile, briefed his legal team and marketing division, crafting a press release with infographics of my algorithm's efficiency gains, 30% cost reduction, 40% faster processing, designed to stun the industry. The night before the announcement, I lay awake, replaying Andrew's words, "You're too old," fueling my resolve with each repetition, my son's snores a comforting rhythm. At Digital Pinnacle, my first week was a revelation. Meetings where my input shaped strategy, not just filled silence. A corner office with a whiteboard where I sketched new ideas, and a team that listened. The fallout at TechForge was more dramatic than I'd imagined. Reports trickled in from Michael. Andrew pacing the executive floor, demanding answers from Alice, who scrambled to explain the patent oversight to a furious board, her voice cracking under pressure. Clients like the logistics firm threatened to pull multi-million-dollar contracts, their emails a barrage of ultimatums, forcing emergency board meetings that stretched into the night, coffee cups piling up. Andrew's plea emails grew frantic, each one a testament to his panic. "Emily, we can negotiate a return. Then, please, let's find a solution. The board is furious." But I let Zara handle it. Her response is curt and professional, citing legal boundaries with a lawyer's precision. The $500,000 license fee was a bitter pill, negotiated over weeks to reflect the years of unrecognized labor, a figure that included back royalties Zara insisted upon, her arguments backed by industry precedents. The board's approval came with gritted teeth, a public acknowledgement of my role, a humiliating add-on published in a terse press release. My son's pride was my anchor, a beacon through the storm. He attended the conference, watching me speak on innovation and resilience, his cheers blending with the crowds, his camera flashing to capture every angle. Post-event, industry peers approached, offering collaborations, speaking engagements at global summits, and a book deal, validating my worth in a way TechForge never had. Andrew, I later heard through industry gossip over a coffee with Ethan, was sidelined, his reputation tarnished by the scandal, forced to step back as a new CEO, a young hire, took the helm. TechForge's stock stabilized but never recovered its pre-crisis peak, a shadow of its former self, its logo faded on delivery trucks. My journey, from that cold meeting room to this stage, taught me resilience, a lesson forged in the fires of betrayal, and that true victory is self-earned, a legacy I'd pass to my son and the team I'd rebuilt, a family stronger than ever.